Telenovelas, also known as Latin American soap operas, have over the past 5 years rebranded themselves by shedding their stereotypical girl in distress narrative to create a woman-empowered progressive narrative. Though I think this rebranding is a great first step towards progress, it doesn't mean telenovelas are now all of a sudden completely progressive. Telenovelas still have many issues that need to be addressed. One of the biggest issues is colorism. Colorism, according to American scholar Angela B. Harris, is a form of discrimination which is based on the physiognomy, regardless of the person's perceived racial identity. Basically, that means colorism is a form of discrimination because of the individual's skin tone and usually happens amongst people from the same race. Telenovelas display colorism because they only cast light-skinned actors as the successful characters and discriminate against dark-skinned actors by casting them as the help. Or, in some cases, they actually cast them as the protagonist but give them a background with humble origins and limited education. This is exactly what happens in the 2010 Ecuadorian novela Yo Vendo Unos Ojos Negros. The main protagonist is an indigenous woman named Maria, who is from the Quechua tribe, which is an indigenous tribe in Ecuador. Maria has light-skinned complexion with dark eyes and dark curly hair. She doesn't exactly look like a Quechua woman, but her curly dark hair and dark eyes distinguish her from the white protagonist, and I assume the producers thought that was good enough. In the first episode of the novela, Maria is shown with her Quechua tribe, and she's described as a humble, uneducated, poor child. The whole plot of the novela is that Maria's father passes away and Maria is forced to move to the city. Maria struggles in the big city, and it's not until Maria physically transforms into a whiter version of herself that she starts to socially move upwards. Maria starts wearing shorter skirts, tighter dresses, and she starts tying her hair in a ponytail. Eventually, we see her with completely straight hair, and this becomes her permanent look throughout the whole novela. Towards the end of the novela, Maria has successfully opened her own business and is a successful businesswoman. However, in order for her to become a successful businesswoman, she first had to erase her physical indigenous identity. This is problematic because it promotes the idea that people who look indigenous cannot be successful. This is a backwards idea to promote in general, but especially in Ecuador, where 23% of the population is indigenous, and this is a novela which was supposed to represent them, but in reality only took a step backwards by reinforcing the idea that indigenous people should aim for whiteness if they want to move upwards socially. Novelas that are reinforcing colorism are also reinforcing the erasure of indigenous and any other Latino who isn't white passing. And it's promoting the idea that those individuals are less important than lighter-skinned individuals. This message is internalized by many Latinos, and it negatively reflects in their self-esteem and self-love. A study conducted by Brigham Southern in 2012 concluded that Latino children have a bias against dark skin. In the study, the children were asked to point out the beautiful doll between a white doll and a black doll. And even though many Latino children had a darker skin complexion, they all chose the white doll over the dark doll. A little girl said, because they have nicer hair, nicer eyes, and are a nicer race. She does not like the color brown or black. Though the little girl looked more like the dark doll, the experiment concluded that like many African American children, Latino children are also trained to classify dark skin as ugly and white as beautiful, which leaves no room for self-acceptance amongst dark-skinned Latinos. Latinos will continue to classify the black doll as the ugly doll if they don't see a proper positive representation of themselves in the media. But for that to happen, we must call out the steps that are still not being made, like the steps towards addressing colorism within novelas. Novelas are a huge platform, and if used correctly can change the negative mentality Latinos have towards darker skin tones.